Welcome to Honduras This Week Online News Videocast for Monday, March 31st, 2008. This videocast is brought to you by Minister Sweet. Sweet Dreams. Melon ban investigation continues. Zelaya calls for scientific proof. On March 21st, the United States Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, alerted the U.S. public not to purchase melons shipped from Honduras, in particular cantaloupes produced by Agropecuaria Montelibano, and was seeking to halt future tradings with the company. This decision was made following an outbreak of salmonella food poisoning across the U.S. and Canada, in which 59 people became sick and 14 were hospitalized. Helen Locke gives us more in the national section. Exclusive HTW interview. President Zelaya addresses melon crisis. Honduran President Manuel Zelaya stresses that the melon crisis is not a commercial embargo, but an alert launched by the United States Food and Drug Administration. The alert suggested abstaining from consuming certain produce of Honduras, specifically melons produced by one company of the southern region of Honduras. Read the full article by Álvaro Morales Molina in the national section. President Zelaya addresses melon controversy. President Zelaya confirms that he has attended meetings with authorities of the U.S. government in reference to the present strategy that the administration is carrying out in order to overturn the decision taken by North America of keeping borders closed to the Honduran melon, claiming that it is contaminated with salmonella. Read more in the national section. Honduran government officials fly to Washington, D.C. to resolve melon issue. Honduran Secretary of Agriculture Héctor Hernández departed last week to Washington, D.C., accompanied by Secretary of Health Elsa Palou and Secretary of Industry and Commerce Freddy Serrato for meetings with American authorities to address concerns about exported Honduran melons and salmonella and the alert placed on the melons. So far, each of the analyzed melon containers have tested negative for salmonella bacteria. Read the full article in the national section. President Zelaya eats Honduran melon before U.S. cameras. President Zelaya challenged the findings of the United States FDA, which ordered supermarkets to withdraw all Honduran produce melons under the suspicion of containing salmonella as unjust. President Zelaya ate from a melon before U.S. cameras as a demonstration of confidence in the sowing, cultivation, packaging, and export processes of the Honduran fruit. Read the full article in the national section. Commerce wars or agricultural sabotage. Melon production in Honduras reached its massive scale in the 1980s, continued to increase in the 1990s, and eventually overtook cotton production. Cotton farmers were forced to scale back and experiment with changing over to melons. At that time, they didn't know the outcome, that this delicious fruit would become a major Honduran export. Today, melon represents 11% of total exports from Honduras and 64% of the agricultural exports total as well, placing it fourth in produce exportation. Read this week's opinion article in the opinion and editorial section. Trujillo, more than just beautiful beaches. The blue sky and the natural beauty of Trujillo were discovered by Christopher Columbus back in 1502 in his fourth and final trip to the newly discovered America. The city eventually became one of the first capitals of the New World following Spanish conquest. After that, it developed important economic activity, attracting English pirates, prompting the fort of Santa Barbara to be built, some of which is still left and is protected. Read more about Trujillo in the travel and tourism section. Tragic bus crash claims 27 lives. Brake malfunction suspected. 27 deaths, mostly women and children, and at least 18 others were badly injured as a result of a passenger bus crash last week in Honduras. The bus was on its regular route between the villages of San Isidro and Otoro in the department of Intibucá in western Honduras. The initial thought is that the driver lost control of the bus. It then careened off the road and down a steep incline of about 500 meters. Most of the deaths occurred as passengers were thrown from the bus due to the impact and continued rolling down the steep ravine. The area of the road, ironically nicknamed Angel's Flight, is near Otoro and curves through the impressive mountains of the region. Álvaro Morales Molina tells this tragic incident in the national section. Cardinal Rodriguez says poverty reduction does not reach the poor. Honduran Cardinal Oscar Andrés Rodriguez on Good Friday expressed his concern and worry about the difficult living conditions in which many Hondurans still live, in spite of the efforts made by the Zelaya administration. The President's Poverty Reduction Strategy program was implemented shortly after debt forgiveness was granted to Honduras and other governments after receiving cooperation funds in previous decades. Read the full article by Álvaro Morales Molina in the national section. Regency Tower and Realco changing the skyline in Tegucigalpa. Realco Investment, a Honduran company with European capital, was specifically created to build both houses and commercial projects for different sectors within Honduras. By the initiative of Capital Invest Belgium, Realco performed an analysis indicating Honduras is rich in development potential and also happens to have a significant housing deficit of 749,000 units. Realco's efforts are to try and satisfy part of this demand. Read the full article in the national section. This has been your online weekly update for Honduras. I'm Nicole Martyr for Honduras This Week Online. Have a great day and see you next week.